we tend to use arts and culture to tackle social issues. In this case, it's loneliness and isolation in older people. Prior to COVID, we would meet weekly in different locations, put on monthly social events. We'd have singers or get a band in, and sometimes we'd have a garden party, that sort of thing. But the main part of it is we would be putting on performances, and we'd be teaching, these guys to how the entire production process from beginning to end. And then people like Carol, they would take part in weekly workshops and rehearsals. And then we would end up putting them on stage to the paying public. So Carol enjoyed that, didn't you? The first time we talked to, there was a big queue outside the theatre.
It was great though. I enjoyed every minute.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what's been great to see is how they've, they get more and more confident as they're learning more. So in the very beginning, there would be a script, but now they don't even look at the script. They make up all their own stuff, when they improv, and it's usually hysterical, and the audiences absolutely love it.
Well, before we met Jules and her crew, life was pretty boring, really. It was, you're retired, but what do you do? I've got mobility problems, so it's not as if I can go gardening or yoga or anything like that. But when we met Jules and she said what she was doing, there was a few of us really interested. We became involved. We cursed her because we were rehearsing 6 days a week just before the Christmas for the pantomime, but we loved every minute, and it got us out, even if it's only for an hour, but we were usually 2 to 3 hours. And we met so many different people from other communities, and it was just great. And now we really miss it, and we're just waiting for lockdown to be finished.
It's been difficult. When we started this current project, the lottery funded one, it was in the middle of the pandemic. We did have a period where we could have socially distant sessions, and we set up what we call micro bubbles. So instead of having one big group, we would have sort of 3 in a day of 2 to 3 participants in each group, which, it wasn't ideal, but it was better than nothing. When the next lockdown came in, then we had to stop the face-to-face sessions. So we set up the weekly Zoom sessions. Not everyone has IT or internet, or some people just don't want to take part online. But for example, the weekly sessions, we're working as if we're trying to pretend that there is no COVID, that we will still continue. So we're still rehearsing for our panto and our community carnival. So last week, for example, we had an acting session online, we had a production session online, and we had a script writing session online. Now, for the people who are not able to join us online, we will send those resources out to them. And our engagement officer rings them weekly to talk through whatever they want to. The major problem that we have had is not so much continuing, but engaging directly with other participants, with the new participants who we should have been working with. But that's been the major problem. With respect to some of our other work, we've diversified into, instead of live performances, into filmed performances. So during COVID, reality theatre has been absolutely busy and hectic and overwhelmed with work. But we are lacking that live face-to-face provision that we all love. We miss it. As much as I like filming, I miss theatre and I miss rehearsals.
I hate Zoom, so I don't join in there, but I'm in touch with Jules often, and Kiri, who checks up on us just to tell us what's been happening and what's going to be happening, and it's been great. I do miss seeing everybody. We used to look forward to going, even if it was only 1 day a week for an hour or two, just to meet up, and we wouldn't really rehearse, we'd just sit and have a laugh. And that's all it took. But now it is so bad, and I really don't know how people are coping that haven't got this. We've got a group that we all phone one another through the week, so it's not so bad. It's just missing out. This weather is the worst part of it. If it was in the summer, they could come down and we could sit in my garden, you know, distancing, and we could have a bit of a chat and a gossip, have a cup of coffee, and it's not so bad. But this weather, it is getting everybody down. I've been to the park once in about 2-3 weeks to have a walk around for exercise.
I mean, for some, you know, for some participants, I mean, one of our other participants, Barbara, as soon as she learned how to go onto Zoom, there was no stopping her, and she's joined other classes as well. And she's just become, you know, like the Zoom queen. You know, she's doing something nearly every day. But of course, she's in the minority. You know, not many people are like that. And it's fine for people like Barbara. But we feel quite strongly about all those who, as I said, don't have internet, or no IT skills, or they just don't want to. You know, a couple of our participants have just refused point blank. They said, we do not want to go online, and we won't. We'll wait until we return to face to face.
But I mean, look at all the information online for people now in lockdown, the older people. The people that haven't got it, they don't know who to turn to, they don't know who to phone. There's so much out there being offered to people that's online. You go on every day and, you know, get a free bus here and a trip to the shop or whatever. People online that not online, they can't do anything. They don't know who to turn to.
What we found so frustrating is that, you know, we're willing and able to work with people who don't have internet, but it's getting that initial contact. So we're looking, you know, we're hoping now that come the summer, it'll be safe to resume rehearsals face to face. And we've also just started, because we couldn't get hold of enough older people, we've taken on a group of younger students with additional needs, and they are now joining us as part of an intergenerational project.
When a few of us are in that studio with Jules, all we do is laugh. We don't want to leave. She checks us out, and it's just great. And we all look forward to it, really look forward to it. And like I said, older people, if they haven't got this, I do feel so sorry for them. But no, thank heavens for reality theatre, because she's brought a lot of entertainment to our community. And there's so many of us around here used to love the monthly meetings. You know, we get up and have a jive, well, you know, back permitting. But and it was great, and sing along to the Elvis impersonators, and it was great. But everything has stopped, and you know, it's a killer. It really is.